good?
Yes, all good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So let's begin. I'm thrilled to be here amongst all of you. The gathering has been truly exceptional experience. So I want to thank each one of you. I'm the final lecturer. And it's really been a pleasure and a special appreciation, of course, to Professor Kaduri for exceptional work organizing this. Thank you. So let's begin with the limited time we have, right? I want to be able to delve into I won't be able to delve into the comprehensive realm of charms in Judaism. Instead, I'll refer to the studies conducted by esteemed scholars such as Gidon Bohak, Yuval Harari, Yossi Chayes, Abigail Manakin Bamberger, Rivka Elitzur Lehman, Gal Sofer, and various others. So here's just a few examples for further reading and expanding one's knowledge on this topic. Much to say about this, but during the lecture, I'd like to explore an aspect of Hebrew inscribed charms that emerged in Israel during a critical period. The charms created to protect against COVID-19 during the elections. So these charms offer a captivating blend of political theology, or maybe political magic, and mystical practices. Those who distributed the charms saw politics and spirituality as intertwined forces. They believed that these charms could harmoniously merge their political affiliations with spiritual beliefs, underlining the intricate link between the spiritual and physical realm. So, charms designed to guard against diseases and plagues find their roots in biblical practices of protection. Maybe I'll write this way we can see better in the room. So stories such as Moses and Pinchas have been particularly influential in shaping these traditions. In the desert, when the Israelites are in the desert, wandering, when faced with deadly serpents, Moses fashioned a bronze serpent for healing. Additionally, Moses invoked divine protection during the journey of the Ark of the Covenant, saying, and I'm quoting from the Bible, "Rise up, O Lord, may your enemies be scattered, may your foes flee before you." Similarly, Pinchas halted a plague through his decisive action, right, against wrongdoers. And in Psalms, and soon we'll see the verse from Psalms, he does not act, he prays, right? He uses holy words to stop the plague. So Kabbalists drew from these pivotal figures and their associated verses to craft charms. Continuing our exploration, let's delve deeper into the role of Hebrew inscribed charms during COVID-19 pandemic. As medical tools were utilized to combat the virus, Kabbalists were also called upon to contribute their magic practices. This led to the creation of charms specifically intended to protect against the virus. A prime example I'm bringing here is of Rabbi Benayahu Shemueli. He is living today in Jerusalem, born and raised in Jerusalem, a prominent Kabbalist in Israel, the head of the Nahar Shalom Yeshiva in Jerusalem. He authored a special charm for widespread distribution. In the image, you see before you Rabbi Shmueli and his son are diligently preparing this protective charm. Notably, they are using existing texts symbolizing the continuity of esoteric knowledge across generations. Rabbi Shmueli's inclusion of ruta, right? We see here the plant. He's asking not only to use the charm. This is the charm we saw before that he's working on with his son. So he's also asking people to add this the root, right? This plant, the ruta, in the charm adds a natural protective element to the practice. And during my research into protection against plagues, I came across relevant texts closely resembled Rabbi Shmueli's charm. So let's take a look. This text is from a book called Adam Yashar, authored by Rabbi Isaac Safrin of Kumarno. Okay, you can see here details about him, Adam Yashar, when it was printed, and also when lived Rabbi Isaac Safrin of Kumarno. So this was one of the sources that stood before Rabbi Bneiyahu Shmueli's eyes when inscribing the charm. While the charm is multi-faced, I'll highlight a few elements to offer insights into its composition. So first, we can see indicated by the orange arrow on the right top, we see there's a verse, a biblical verse. This is from Psalms, a verse from Psalms of Pinchas. Standing, we have here the verse, Vayamod Pinchas, Vayifalel v'te'atzer ha'magefa. Pinchas stood up and pled their case, and the plague was stopped. So we have this verse written here and some other relevant verses, right? This is supposed to help stopping a plague. The blue arrow points to the name of God. So whoever reads Hebrew sees this is not really the name of God. These are other letters. We have the 4 letters of the name of God, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, but here we have the following letters, right? This is these are encoded using the following letters in the alphabet. So we have Kaf, Vav, Zayin, and Vav, and so on. We can go to the other word. It's another name of God, Elohim, but it would be with the following letters in the alphabet. So there are many reasons for this encoding, and obviously it does add a layer of mysticism to the charm. We have some other examples. Again, we cannot examine the whole thing. We have here the green arrow, Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph, right? That's an acronym for Ata Aleph, Ata Gibor Gimel Leolam Lamed Adonai Aleph, translated to you, Lord, or the eternal hero. So this underscores the eternal power of God. We have another example here of Kara Satan. Kara Satan. Satan is Satan, and Kara has to do with tearing, with defeating Satan, but it's also an acronym for Kabel Rinat Amcha Sagavenu Taharenu Nora, meaning accept the cry of your people. Exalt and purify us, O awesome, awesome one. So these phrases, right, encapsulate divine protection and supplication. We have some more examples. This is a very important one, actually. We have the same verse of Pinchas standing and halting the plague. We have it here, but instead of Hebrew reading from right to left, we have the words reading from up to towards down, right? So we have Vayamod Pinchas, Vayefalel, V'te'atzar ha'magefa, and in the middle we have 5 times the name of God with 4 letters, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, and we have it repeating itself. And we can find this in many charms that are supposed to protect people from plagues. So now, so here I just want to take a quick look at a brief look at the charm that Rabbi Bneiyahu Shmueli. And you can already, as experts now in Jewish and Hebrew written charms, you can notice the Kara Satan, you can notice the Ya'amod Pinchas V'yefalal V'te'atzar ha'magefa, you can notice the name of God with the following letters in the alphabet, you can notice with the green arrow, Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph, Ata Gibor Olam Adonai, and more. These are only a few examples showing us that the Kabbalists are using these older, previous charms. Now, so maybe we'll wait with this for a second. Turning our focus to a specific charm distributed in March 2020 in Israel during the early stages of the pandemic by the ultra-Orthodox Sephardic Shas Party in Israel. So this charm was distributed on the streets just before the 23rd Knesset elections, this marked a shift from addressing everyday needs, because Shas has a history of these charms. I wanted to bring some other examples. We have already from early 2000s other examples. This is not the example I want to show, but these examples have the name of the party, Shas, Shin Samech, some rabbis that are linked to the party, support the party, and charms. Here's another charm of Shas that was distributed, I think, around 2006, supporting Ariel Sharon, and also explaining why you should support Ariel Sharon. It's not political for them. They're explaining Ariel Sharon promises to educate the children of Israel in Torah and faith. So, you know, it's a spiritual thing. You need to support Ariel Sharon, and only then the charm is going to work, because you support Ariel Sharon. But I want to focus on this charm, and I actually brought it with me here today, so you can all take a look later. So fast forwarding to 2020, during the pandemic, individuals received this protection, the charm, and me too, right, to possess. And it's worth closely examining this charm. There's a lot to say. We'll do this briefly to uncover its insights and understand its ritualistic nature. So interestingly, the charm's potency transcends its physical form. Its true strength lies in the act of casting a vote. So I want to show you this. Does this look to you a bit like an envelope? And this is the voting note. The voting, right? You know, we want to vote, so we put this, insert this inside the envelope. So this is, we're doing the act of voting, right, with the charm itself. So there's the charm, the inner piece, soon we're going to discuss, and there's the external envelope. So it also has some writings. We'll take a look. But first of all, it's linked to the elections without having the name of the party, without telling you who you should vote. But we know who's giving it out, right? The party of Shas is giving it out to people, right? There's some, when it came to court, because some people claim that this is election bribery. You're promising someone spiritual, I don't know, health or prosperity for voting for someone. That's not right. So they're very careful. So they won't write this. But this is voting to Shas. Now, this mimics a folded note within an envelope symbolizing the act of voting. Essentially, the charm's effectiveness is intertwined with a ritualistic act that extends beyond the physical realm, as I said. It bridges an individual intention, the act of voting, and the spiritual realm it invokes. Moving forward in our explanation, let's take a closer look at the intriguing facets of these charms, of this charm. To start, I'd like to focus on what I'll term the envelope, okay? So, which serves as a context. So we can see here, this is the envelope. We have side 1 and side 2 of the envelope, which serves as a context for the charm itself. So before holding the charm itself, while the envelope isn't the charm, it sets the stage for it. One side, we have the purpose of the charm is explicitly stated, protection against an epidemic, specifically the COVID-19 pandemic. Right? We see inside 1, Hashmira mimagefa, Corona. And then we have the verse from Psalms of Pinchas, okay? Vayamod Pinchas vayifaleh b'ta'atzar ha'magefa. So Pinchas is here, and, right? Because Pinchas has there's some people who have the power to stop the plague. Soon we'll see who else may have the power to stop the plague. This highlights the belief that certain people have the ability to intervene and halt epidemics. On the other side of the envelope, the rationale for creating a charm specifically for COVID-19 is explained. While charms for plagues already exist, creating one for a modern virus like COVID-19 might seem unusual, especially, you know, people who write the charms are righteous people. Who wrote this charm? This is the party distributing anonymously. So how can someone decide to create a charm, right, before elections? So the response, rooted in Kabbalistic thought, is that everything is implied in the Torah. Every event that will occur in the world for, internally is already encoded within the Torah's teaching. So this allows Torah verses to be used for protection against the virus. The Torah is seen as possessing possessing this knowledge, capable of addressing the virus. So here we have a quote from the Torah that tells us not to eat raw food. And then one of the interpreters of the Torah, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, says this, and we're speaking about someone from the 11th century, right? And he's writing here, raw, there's an Aramaic word for raw, meaning korona. So now we're saying, Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, knew about COVID almost like 1,000 years ago. Because he knew what the Torah is meaning, and the Torah knows everything that's going to be in the future, and we can use these words of corona, and we have here a quote from the Zohar, one of the most important books of Kabbalah, saying this is Aramaic, I'm translating, there is nothing that is not implied in the Torah. Everything, right, everything exists in the Torah. So let's shift our attention to the charm itself. Okay, so for a few more minutes, we have the front side features two significant elements. So looking at side one, this is Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. Okay, he's the spiritual leader of Shas Party. He passed away. Okay, he passed away. He wasn't alive during the pandemic, but his figure is here on the charm. So a photograph of Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, the spiritual leader. He's shown alongside the verse, remember the Torah of Moses, my servant, drawing a parallel between Rabbi Ovadia to Moses. In Kabbalistic tradition, Moses also embodies the role of the Messiah who will eventually redeem Israel. So this is already in the Talmud, but even more so in Kabbalah. The phrase Torat Moshe Avdi, the Torah of my servant Moshe, signifies Moses' teachings, extending into the political context of supporting the Shas Party. We know what Rabbi Ovadia Yosef tells us to vote. And we have to remember what he's saying. Because he's the Moses, and Kabbalah says every generation has the Moses of the generation. Until one of those Moses is going to come and redeem the people of Israel. Another verse reads, and this is the blessing which Moses, the man of God, Isha Elohim, blessed the children of Israel. So the charm is seen as a blessing from Moses, attributed here to Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. The motive continues with the inclusion of the priestly blessing. You see the hands, right? The hands, these are the hands of the priests. Until today, priests, the Kohanim, priests in synagogues, this is the pastor, this is how they bless the congregation. Okay, so we have the letter Hey. The numerical value of Hey is 5. We have 5 fingers. And we have the blessing. And who is giving the blessing? We have Moses, we have the priest, we have Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. So he's blessing you, and inside we have letters. This is not the blessing of the priests written inside, rather the blessings of Joseph, biblical Joseph. We know he's also both in Muslim and Jewish traditions. This has to do with the evil eye, right? He's protecting us against the evil eye. And what is the last name of Rabbi Ovadia? Yosef. Okay, so we have Yosef, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. We have the biblical Yosef. We have biblical Moshe. So significantly, Rabbi Ovadia's last name is Yosef. And this link intertwines him with the divine protector and the guardian against the evil eye, all while blessing those who support the Shas Party and invoking protection against COVID-19. The reverse side of the charm includes the verse we've already encountered from the story of Pinchas. So we know this already. Vayamot Pinchas, we can recognize this, right? We read it from top to bottom, right to left, top to bottom. And here we have some addition telling us that Moses passed away on the 7th of month of Adar. Now this was a day after the elections day. So again, in Jewish tradition, he passed away on 7th Adar, and also the redemption is going to happen on the 7th of Adar. So it's a very important day. So they're telling us here, Zayin Adar is a very important day, and these blessings can come about on Zayin Adar. So this is right now when you're going to vote. So notice the date, okay? This is the Zayin Adar thing. It was, Zayin Adar was the 3rd of March, and the election was the 2nd of March. And this is the last slide. This is the inner, shifting our focus to the charm's interior. So this is a Psalms that's referred to Moshe, Tfilah Moshe, a prayer that Moses, so again we have Moses here. And we have Igeret HaParnassah. I want you to notice this one in the middle. It's a microfilm, right? So we're not supposed to read it. We're just supposed to have it with us. That's it. We're not supposed to read it. So it's a letter of Igeret HaParnassah, a letter of sustenance or livelihood, or to increase income. So this letter, this Igeret, is present on microfilm, not intended for reading, only for holding. So what's contained here? Pitum Aktoret. So it says there's Tfilat HaParnassah. Pitum Aktoret. Pitum Aktoret is the compositions of incense alongside Torah verses related to the man, right? The sustenance provided in the desert. Manna, symbolizing divine care, relates to both sustenance and protection against epidemics. And we have also, right, in Numbers 16, Aaron stops the plague with the ketoret. Yeah? So traditionally, the incense reading is done from, and this is important, and I'm finishing now, is done from a parchment. Right? So it's supposed to be written on a parchment and read from a parchment. But this is a piece of paper. But we have this charm substitutes the parchment with a paper card with a design. It's designed as a parchment. So we have the design of a parchment to give a parchment-like feel. Right? So this is a substitute. So in essence, and these are the final words of the final lecture, so this charm goes beyond mere symbolism. It intertwines a web of connections among spiritual figures, biblical verses, and historical events. It weaves together the political and the magical, evoking tradition while confronting modern challenges. Thank you very much.